Like they want us to believe that Florida Seminoles was a Native American tribe, and they want you to believe that the Native Americans were separate from African Americans. All right. So I did a lecture a few classes ago about the Illinois. All right, about Chief Chicago in Illinois. So in that lecture, I was talking about how I was going to start doing a lot of classes about these different native tribes. And, just so you can learn more about us, that these are your people. These are us. All right. After we fell in frequency, remember, and I'm going to do a lecture on that too, the origin story all over again, just for the website. So don't worry about it. But after they invaded our planet in 1492, we fell in frequency, right, during this war. So we became tribal. Okay. And when we became tribal, I was telling you how when we became tribal, we took on all these different, monikers and things like that just to survive and continue to fend and fight them off. All right. But we never warred with each other. We still was connected with one another. We just took on different tribes. All right. We kind of merged into tribes to stick together. So when you talking about tribes, the two most powerful tribes to ever walk the face of this earth that they will at least tell you about after the fall is the Florida Seminoles and the Illinois. All right. Now, we already touched on the Illinois. Today, we finna touch on the Florida Seminoles. All right. And they wasn't no joke, man. Like, you got to understand, when you talking about the Gullah Wars and all of this type of stuff, you know what I'm saying? It's all was connected to this. All right. You talking about South Carolina. You talk about North Carolina. You talk about all these states, right, that have taken on the names of these native chiefs and these different tribes. All right. That's why I say your ancestors wasn't no joke, man. This is what they fear. Okay? They fear you having that Seminole mentality or that Illinois mentality. Because guess what? If you notice something about the so-called Indians, you notice they was always at war. They was always fighting. You notice that? In most stories that you're going to hear about native tribes, notice they will always somehow be in some sort of war. Because see, when we was in this state as a people of what they were calling Indians, because now they call us African Americans. We're not Indians anymore. We're not Seminoles. We're not Illinois. We're not Iroquois. We're not Cherokee. They don't call us that anymore. They call us Puerto Ricans. They call us African Americans. Okay? You got to remember, this is strictly over here in the United States where this took place at. President of the United States. All right? Here, man. All right. President of the United States. So, President of the United States. All right? Let's get into it. So, let's look at the map. Let's get a map up here of the United States. Boom. This the whole country. This the whole country. This your terrain. This is let's go over this. Let's do a little geography right now. This is geography 101. Geography 101 right now. So this is your country, right? Now remember how I've taught you that. Remember, keep in mind, I'll do a separate lecture on it down the road, class. But keep in mind that no state looks like this. None of these states are shaped like this. Just keep that in your mind. Just keep that in your mind. And remember that Arizona is the back of Africa, and Mexico leads down into present day what they would call Africa. But that's a different lecture, but still just keep that in your motherfucking mind. Okay? At all times. Be aware of your terrain. This would be called your terrain, your area, topography. All right? Geography, topography, your terrain. Always be aware of where you are on the map. Okay? Always be aware of where you are in your city, your state, the map. Always be aware of north, east, south, and west. For they actually exist. They are not a part of the matrix. These are organic constructs, which is why the matrix still has to abide by it to some extent. Okay? I'm giving you real metaphysical keys right now with that. It's gonna make sense later. That's one of them video game tokens. You know how you play a video game and then you get some shit in the game, you be like, what the fuck they give me this for? And then later on in the game, you be like, oh, that's why they gave me that. That's one of them gems. That you guys could think later. You don't even worry about it. And especially as we move on with like magic, when you get deeper into magic, you want to definitely always be aware of your terrain. Okay? The elites still use a lot of magic. They still play with a lot of magic. They still go off the terrain. This is why they show you the map like this. This is why they make the certain states, certain colors on their map. Okay? For certain reasons. Okay? All right? That's a whole nother lecture though. All right, but let's stay focused. So we down here today. Now, when we spoke about the Illinois, we was talking about the biggest tribe. So the Illinois they covered Michigan, Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, Iowa, Nebraska, South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and North Dakota. So they had all of this whole borderline Kentucky, Ohio. All of that was the Illinois land. All right, now, the Cherokee, I'm glad you see that, okay? So, boom, check this out. This like the Mississippi right here. It's the Mississippi River. You see the state of Mississippi right there? The Mississippi River runs all the way up through Illinois. All right, so that's important that you remember this line right here, all right? Because I know they taught us this in high school, but a lot of people probably forgot it. Certain things they didn't lie about, certain things you need to remember. Okay? Certain things on the map you need to remember. And you need to know they stand out for a reason. This line, the Mississippi River, is very important on this realm. The Mississippi River, which is I'll do a separate lecture on the Mississippi River, is not what you think it is. Okay? But it's very, very important on the map. Notice it sits in the middle. It almost sits in the middle because it actually sits down.